All right, welcome everybody. So today we're going to be chatting about, I guess, the power of reaching out and helping and finding other people to get the word out there about essential oils. Something very quickly that I realized very quickly when I started was that I had a really big vision for wanting to help as many people as I could. And I saw when I started sharing the oils with others, and you'd get text messages or you'd bump into a mum at the school gate that had just got oils a few weeks ago, and they'd be saying, oh my goodness, that oil that you gave me is amazing. Like, the kids have been sick, and then I rolled the On Guard on their feet and no one else seemed to got sick after that. It was just incredible. And you think they help people so much. And I just wanted to get out there and get oils into everyone's hands, because I knew how much it would help people. And to have people, messaging you or coming up to you in tears and just saying, you have no idea the difference it's made in my life. Thank you. But I'm like, no, thank the oils, because that's what it is. But it's true in that we are that conduit between the oils and the people. So the oils don't just walk into people's homes and just drop themselves in people's hands and then just miraculously support them. People need to learn about what it is. And when we're out there teaching classes, it's amazing, but I very quickly realized that there were more people in the world that I wanted to help than what I could personally help. And I knew that for me to have the big impact that I wanted to have in the world, to really, really, really help as many people as I could, I knew I couldn't do it alone. So I knew that I needed to find other people who were equally as passionate about helping other people and just getting this information out there. And that's where working with people becomes just amazing. Like, Kim sat there at the Freedom Tribe retreat, Freedom Tribe training day, on the weekend, and said that, when she first started, her team was just her. And now, 3-4 years later, it's 15,000 people. And they're not all customers. Roughly industry standard, doTERRA standard is about 10%. So when you think about having 1,500 people that are out there like you, passionately sharing and helping people learn about the oils so they can use them, 1,500 people, that's just mind-blowing. It's amazing. 15,000 people that, from her talking to people like Erin and Anastasia, her friends that she grew up with, said, hey, come and do this with me. That's just expanded out and touched so many lives. So I wanted to talk about, how do you find those people? Because sometimes we feel like it doesn't happen straight away. And I want to be really real and honest in saying that it is hard. Like, those people, those business builders that you want to join you, they don't necessarily happen straight away. I think Kim was very, very lucky in how she got started with people who just, like her sister, even though her sister jumped in and said yes, she still admits that it took her 6 months to actually do anything. But it was what motivated Alicia to actually get started properly, was seeing that Kim didn't waver in her commitment to helping people. She's like, I'm doing this with or without you, but I would love so much to do this with you. And Alicia was just like, yeah, I'll do it. but she never really did anything for 6 months. But she watched, and here's Kim going out and changing people's lives and changing her own life in the process. And then 6 months in, Alicia's just like, all right, I want a slice of that pie. Let's do it. Do you know what I mean? So although you may not think that you've got friends, family, or people in your circles right now who are interested in that, I can guarantee you that there will be people who are watching what you are doing right now. Perhaps they're watching to see what kind of success you're having. Perhaps they're watching to see, how committed are you to this? Are you kind of in and out, and kind of in, maybe post on social media, but it doesn't come up in conversation, you know, or maybe it's just like, I don't know, you know. So they're watching you to see, just, is it a fad in Stella's life? Is it a fad in Carla's life? Is it a fad? Is it just a little short phase that Heather's doing at the moment, and then in 4 months, 6 months, 12 months time, she will find something else to do, and this will be a thing of the past. So your stickability and your visibility really matters when it comes to attracting those people, because they're there. You're just not aware of them right now. All right. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was, how do you recognize, actually, let's talk first about who do we think, or how do we find, or how do we know what kind of people we want to collaborate with? Does anyone want to chuck in the chat box or unmute themselves and contribute to this conversation? Like, what would be a characteristic or a quality that you're looking for when it comes to a business partner? Stella.
I guess maybe like similar interests, basically what you're wanting out of the business, like what you want to, like you were saying before, that you want to help people, you know, you want to, like they say, your vibe attracts your tribe, that you want people with similar interests and similar motivations that you do.
Yep. So to get really clear with, you know, tap into that sort of what you want the universe to know or whatever your thing is, I drill that down and be really specific. So I'm wanting people that are yogis. I'm wanting mums. I'm wanting people that love cooking, whatever the case may be, but really get specific with those people that you want to draw in and attract, and the people that would just absolutely light you up to work with as well. Does anyone want to add anything else to that? If I could just, if this was like a, you know, drive through at McDonald's and you're at the little box that says, "Hi, may I take your order, please?" What sort of leader would you like?
What do you want me to say?
Yeah. Hi, may I take your order, please?
Yeah, so I don't know. I just I mean, I think it's pretty, your vibe attracts your tribe thing is almost like, you know, I think we're naturally attracted to people that are sort of similar to us. So for me, I want people that are this is what I think about myself. No, well, kind of. No, all right.
I love where you go with this.
My teeth are like blue because I've just been eating blueberries, so it's kind of grossing me out as I'm seeing myself. But anyway, I want people that are smart, capable, happy to work hard in the short term for like rewards in the long term, who are able to like who want their own business, who are not afraid of like the risk or the work involved in like creating something like this, but also love holistic health and wellness and are naturally sharing that in their daily lives anyway. And so like that, like I already, like if you knew me before essential oils, I was always talking about food as medicine and stuff anyway. Like it was very easy, natural fit. So yeah. that's my, and ideally, I guess if they believe in the network marketing model, that's a bonus. I mean, I didn't before doTERRA. That completely changed my mind. I was just like, what the hell? Yeah, but I mean, if they already do, and there are a lot of people out there that do believe in it that have never maybe found something that resonated with them enough, or I don't know, or maybe had the upline support, I don't know, various things. So people do switch companies. I'm not saying go poach people, but just there are people that are open to it and think it's good. That, yeah. So that's probably my ideal person.
Yeah, awesome. So good. So for me, I've actually written up my whole thing of who I want to attract. So I really recommend that you take 10, 15 minutes or longer if need be to just write out exactly what that person looks like. Hayley Hobson, I remember her saying she's got her avatar of her customer down pat to the point where she knows that her customer, her ideal customer, the person that she's drawing in, that she's attracting, will drink a turmeric latte over a green smoothie. You know, that's very, very specific.
Is that a customer or a builder avatar?
I thought it was a customer.
Yeah, okay.
Cool. So she knows who to connect with, but it's the same sort of thing when you're looking at builders and things like that. So I know Kim specifically focused on people who were entrepreneurial. So, you know, like Anastasia, she's owned businesses before. Erin has owned and run 3 wellness clinics.
Yeah.
You know, so she was really thinking about who in her friendship group, but also who that she does business with that's quite entrepreneurial as well. So, and chat to them about this business opportunity. And it doesn't have to be one or the other. The beauty of a network marketing business is it can run alongside family. It can run alongside another business, which is just beautiful as well.
Yeah.
So that's exercise 1. If you guys are keen to do that, I really highly recommend you do that. I think it's a really, really great exercise. And you might be thinking now, or even after you've written all of that out, have a really strong vision of who you want, and already have a couple of people that jump to mind in who you'd really, really love to partner with. But even if you don't have names at the end of that, you've just done it.
I've literally just done it. Look, I'll show you. Hang on. I've literally just been sitting here just listening to what everyone said, and I've got 2 people in my head that I need, that I'm just like, how did I not think of them? Like, look at my list there. See?
So good. I love that. See? And it doesn't take that long, and then you're just like, oh, she'd be amazing. All right. So the other thing that I want to bring, and Heather's going to laugh because this is going back from old training that we used to do, but there's so many times where people that you are in conversation with, perhaps they're people at classes, perhaps they're people online that you've connected with, that are watching what you're doing, and perhaps they're already in conversation or asking you questions about your business, and you don't yet realize that they're actually asking questions because they want to see if it could be for them. So we call these green light questions. Do you remember green light questions, H? Yes. All right. So green light questions could be so many different things, from so do you have to do classes? Or so how many classes do you guys do? Or how do you get paid? Is it worth your while? I even went to a class one day who a lady said, oh, is that all that you have to bring? That's pretty easy. Although it wasn't a question, what do you think he was thinking in that moment?
I can do that.
Yeah. Oh, that's not very much stuff you have to lug around. So some other questions are, so how much time does this take? Like, what do you do this full time? Or some people go, oh, here's another question that sounds a bit roundabout. So what did you used to do? Like, what do you do other than this? So that question there is just assessing, what skills do you have that I might have that would make this easy for me to do as well? Can you think any other different ones, Heather, that you want to jump in with?
Let me think. There's so many. It's any question, you know. So how many hours a week do you do?
Do you do this every weekend?
Yeah.
Do you have to do?
How do you get classes? Do you find it hard to get classes? Like, that's just fine. You know, asking, well, how am I going to get classes? So anything they ask you is pretty much about your business or about your classes or anything is, you know. So do you get many people booking classes? They're sussing it out for themselves, you know, like, how am I going to get classes if I look at this, or how hard is it? How much time do you have to put in? All that sort of stuff. So it's really, you know, and then you'll get the ones that also that you can sort of diffuse as well, because it's almost like people are trying to talk themselves out of it. They're trying to give themselves a reason not to do it. And that would be, oh my gosh, you travel so far, and, you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, but that's my thing. I love that. I really don't mind driving in the car. You don't have to do that. So, you know, have you done something like this before? You know, you'd be great at this. That's it. That's straight back into it. Have you done something like this before? You'd be great at this. Sorry, did I just take your next bit? But yeah. So, but any questions like that? And it takes a while, because you'll jump in the car after your class and you'll go, shit, someone just asked me something about the business. I forgot to, like, I didn't pick up on it. But you can always ring in the next day.
Here's one that it took me a little while to realise that it was actually not a question, but a green light question. It was a green light statement. And because I was so wrapped up in me, I didn't pick it up, because people would say at a class or whatever, just like, oh my goodness, I could never do what you do. I could never speak in front of people like that. But translation, oh wow, I wish I had the courage to do that. It looks like so much fun. Or I'd really love to be able to do that. I just don't know how right now.
Yeah.
Another question people often ask is, so do you have lots of training for this, or how did you learn how to do this? How did you get started? How did you get involved in this?
Yeah.
There's so
I
many.
get the same. It's sort of, and that's where you've got to be careful not to be too clever and give over too much information, because sometimes they'll say, oh my gosh, I could never do what you do. You know so much. And so you need to sort of be ready with that response. Well, actually, I don't. Everything's here in the book, or any. And I perhaps do you mind if I keep going for a little bit?
No, I'd love you to.
So I think also that's where that beautiful line that has just left my head. Hang on, let me think. Hang on, what was I talking about? That's right. So covering things off up front. So when, you know, sometimes if you find people have said it a couple of times, oh, you know, I couldn't do what you do. You have such huge knowledge, or, you know, you're studying or whatever it is, then clearly I've been giving so much information, people are just going, whoa. So that's the first thing. But secondly, then, you know, you turn around and go, you know what, I actually you don't have to do study or whatever to do what I do. Everything is in this book, or everything is in this brochure. But to cover that off up front and to help people to see how easy it is to do what we do inside of your class or inside of your presentation, when you're holding up the Nature Solutions brochure, or, you know, make sure that you need to go to your Modern Essentials book to check something out. Don't even if you do know the answer, don't answer it. Say, oh, hang on, I'll just look it up. And the line that we use, or I use, is, you know, anyone can do this. Literally, you just need to be able to read and just read off this brochure. And so when you use that one particular line, you know, anyone can do what I do. I'd love you, you know, I'd love to take you along on a journey with me. Seriously, you just need to be able to read. I'm sure you can all read. Here's the brochure here. This is literally all you need to be able to do. And that's that whole covering it off up front. And then you're encouraging, or you're planting that seed of people actually going, oh, really? That's all you need to do? Just be able to read that brochure. That's how you do a class. Yeah, that's it. Literally, have your oils and do that. So the people that come up to you and maybe say something later, then they're the ones that are just, you've planted the seeds. They're already asking questions afterwards.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. So, can anyone think of a time that they've been teaching a class, or perhaps having a conversation with a friend, or had a conversation online with somebody, that you're reflecting back now, you've been able to identify a green light statement or a green light question where someone's kind of been sussing you out? Stella, there's that little like, yes?
Yeah, one of them was someone who I knew had actually, it's actually someone I'm still working on now, but I know that she had been involved in network marketing before.
Yeah.
And right at the end of the class, she waited till almost everyone else left, and then she kind of looked at me and just went, so how's the money?
How's the money, honey?
How's the money? And it was just one of those sort of like, because I didn't know that she was looking for anything in particular. It was just off the cuff kind of, you know, so how's things going? You know, are you making decent money, sort of thing? And yeah, and that sort of started the conversation. So obviously I followed up with her, and it hasn't been the right time for her to start, but she has said now, so I'm keeping contact with her now in the next few days, and hopefully, hopefully she'll start and be a good builder for me. But that was sort of the question was, you know, she knew that I had done network marketing before for a different company, and she had done one for a different company. And so.
Yeah, so awesome. So it's really hard to identify these questions and these people who are sitting there watching, just wanting to have that little bit of extra information, if you don't have your eyes open or your ears open. So really do, you know, have a think back about some conversations that you perhaps have had in the past. But from here on in, now knowing that there's these little clues that people leave, be really mindful of that and see what you notice over the next few weeks or so, having a real focus on that, and see what comes up. So if someone does express some interest in the business, and we're not going to go into depth with this is going to wrap up in a couple of minutes, but it's really important not to just go, because I know the tendency will be when you just like, oh, that's a green light question, it's a green light question, this person's interested, and you'll want to just grab them and just vomit information all over them about how amazing doTERRA is and how they just have to do it with you because it's like so awesome. So be really chilled. Like I fully have to really consciously rein it in, even though on the inside I'm just like, yes. I'm just like, I'll be packing up my stuff. I'm just like, oh yeah, no, there's pretty good training. Like we've got this online, blah, 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 blah. And normally I cut it off and I'll just be like, oh, look, I'd love to chat to you about this a little bit more. Are you around tomorrow? And I can give you a call, and I might leave them with a build guide that might answer some of their questions, but then follow up with them the next day, and I'll book in that time and just go, look, I'll, you know, pop it in my diary just so I know that I'm going to be free at that time, and I can make that time for you, and we can go through any questions that you've got. So have a read through this, and then, you know, let's chat tomorrow. and see what happens. Any questions about that? No. So obviously having 3 builders on your front line is amazing. It doesn't always happen so perfectly like that. And that's okay. But if we've got like builders there, we know that they're putting in a 100-point order each month, which is going to help power of 3. So builders are best on your front line, which is awesome. So and that helps your power of 3, then you just teach them how to get their power of 3. It all ties in so beautifully. So I'd love to keep this chat going, I guess, in our Facebook group, and let me know over the next week or 2, 3, whatever, what you're noticing. Have you noticed any green light questions or statements that are a bit of a flag that says, oh, someone might be a little bit interested in this? Or let me know, maybe you've got some people that have come up in mind about previous conversations that you've had that you want to follow up. Let us know, like, be accountable in that group just to yourself, and just share, because it's really, it will help you, and it's obviously a great place to celebrate what you're learning and those little light bulbs that are going off. But also it helps, by you sharing what you've learned, it helps other people to share what they've learned, and other people learn from you. And that's where leadership starts. So if you want to attract leaders, you need to be the leader. It doesn't matter how many leaders, builders, customers you have underneath you. Kim, when she started, she was just like, I'm doing it. And that's what attracted the leaders. And the leadership, she was the leader from day one, whether she was leading builders, leaders, sharers, whatever, she was living it. So I really, if you want to be that builder, if you want to attract those builders, it starts with you. You need to be the builder. So share in the group what's working for you, and help other people learn from you as well. Awesome, guys. So next week we've got our Freedom Tribe call, same time, Zoom place, different Zoom link. And then the week after we'll be back here together for our team call. So I'll see you all next Monday. See ya.